What's going on, guys? It's your average consumer, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Microsoft Surface headphones. And these actually came out back in November, but I wanted to spend my time with it and really get to know it since these are Microsoft's first pair of headphones, Bluetooth headphones at that. Let's see how they did. And of course, the first thing we've got to take a look at is the overall design. Microsoft's done a really good job at matching the design with the rest of the Surface products. You put this thing next to a Surface Book or a Surface Studio, and you can just see that they belong together, of course, thanks to that gray aesthetic. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. I don't think these are the best looking headphones in the world. They're a little bit on the larger side, especially when you've got them on. You guys can see how large these ear cups are. But I've gotten used to that because my favorite pair of headphones have really large ear cups as well, and that leads to amazing comfort. This has some really awesome padding. It's very nice and soft, and it actually goes completely over the ear. So when you're wearing them for long periods of time, you will absolutely have no issues. And it's built mainly out of plastic, but it doesn't feel cheap by any means, and the overall look isn't bad at all. Only thing that I will critique about this overall design is the fact that it does look a bit large and the fact that it's not foldable. It would have been really nice if the ear cups were foldable so you can have more storing options, but as it is right now, these can be laid down completely flat, and with the travel case that it comes with, if you're trying to throw this thing in your backpack, you're not gonna really have any issues. I just like to have the foldable option, especially at that premium price point. And I don't think this is a design that's gonna work for everyone, but if you have Surface products, this is gonna fit just right in. But in the future, I would like to see more color options. The Surface laptops have a ton of color options like black, blue, that burgundy. So it would be really cool to see these headphones kind of go with that. And speaking of Surface products, one thing that these headphones have going for it is if you already own them, it makes it extremely easy to pair. So once you power it on, you'll see some options come up in your notification section in Windows, and then you can just kind of pair it from right there, and it just makes a really simple process, kind of like what we see with Apple and their W1 chip, where you can pair a pair of AirPods or Beats to your iPhone very quickly. These kind of have that with all the Surface products, which is nice. And I believe Microsoft is calling that feature Swift Pair. And speaking of pairing, these headphones can pair with up to 10 different devices, which is just crazy because most headphones max out at 2. Now, that doesn't mean you're gonna be able to play music from one device and listen to something else on another device and you hear both at once, but it does mean that once your audio stops on one device, you can kind of pick up with the other without having to press any buttons or jump into any menus, which I think is just awesome. And while we're talking about features, let's talk about some of the cool ones that Microsoft has introduced with these. First things first, they've got touch panels on both sides of the ear cups. So that is really cool because usually it's on one. So you can control it with any side, whether you're left-handed, right-handed. I think that's pretty cool. But to control your audio, all you have to do is tap it once to play and pause your music, double tap to skip to the next song, triple tap to go back. Pretty standard stuff, but if you long press, you can activate Cortana, which you can download an app for, or you can just use Siri or Google Assistant, depending on the device you're using. And on the right ear cup, you've also got a power button and a button to mute your mic, and you also have a USB Type-C port, which is very 2018, 2019. I am very happy to see that. And we'll talk more about the battery life and charging in a second, but you also have a headphone jack. So if you don't want to use the Bluetooth features, you can always plug this in the regular standard way, which is always nice. Now, those are all nice things, but let's get to what makes this headphone really special, and that's the dials on the ear cups. So on the right ear cup, you have a dial where you can control your volume. So you can bring it up to max, the minimum, all with this dial. But the left ear cup is where there's some magic happening. So you can actually control the active noise canceling with these. And that's something that we're seeing with a lot of premium headphones in this price range. Active noise canceling is kind of like that feature you gotta have. But this takes it a step further and gives you 13 levels of active noise canceling, and you can actually bring it all the way down, and that gives you access to ambient noise. And we all know active noise canceling is meant to block out everything around you, so if you're traveling and you don't want to hear other people in your commute, you can have that on, or maybe you just want to block out all sounds, you can do that. But with ambient noise, it actually does the opposite, and it lets sounds in so you can at least know what's going on around you. So if you're at home and your wife is calling you or the kids are calling you, but while you're listening to something, you can have that feature on and still be able to hear what's going on around you and not be completely oblivious to the world. But Microsoft is the first company I've ever seen make an actual dial where you can just completely control that at the flip of a switch or turn of a dial. And I think that is really cool. And the ambient noise mode is surprisingly good, guys. One of the nights that I was testing these, it was really late in the night and I was doing some cleaning, getting my basement together. And I didn't want to play music with the speakers because Ari was sleeping. So I put on the headphones, had it in ambient noise mode because in case Ari woke up and she was calling me, I wanted to make sure I heard her. And while I was cleaning up and everything and putting things away and getting things together, I could hear everything that I was doing, even though I was listening to my music. And it just felt like I had sonic hearing, guys. When I paused the music and I was still doing activity with the headphones on, I could hear everything amplified. And each ear cup is equipped with microphones so that you can kind of hear what's going on around you. But I will say, guys, it was an interesting feeling to use this in ambient mode and just feel like I had sonic hearing. And that's what I really like about these headphones. Being able to have that level of control all from the headset itself, so you don't really have to touch your phone to do anything. I think that is really awesome. Now let's talk about battery life. This thing has about 15 hours of battery life, which is okay. I would like to see that number in the 20s. Usually when it comes to these premium headsets with the noise canceling and all that, you usually see it in the 20 range. 15 is a bit on the low side, but it did hold up to its claim. But one thing that this thing does have going for it is the fact that you can get an hour of listening with just a 5-minute charge. So it has a quick charge feature built into it. And I can appreciate that with any headphone. I love quick charging. And something cool that you can do with these headphones is just call out to Cortana by saying, "Hey Cortana," and it is gonna be able to pick up what you're saying. You know, buttons to press, and you can just ask it questions or make it do a certain command. And I find that this feature works pretty well with computers or even your phones. And the headphones also do this really cool thing. When you first turn them on, they'll tell you just how many hours of listening you have instead of just a battery percentage, which I think is a lot more useful. Now let's talk about one of the most important parts of any headphones, and that's the sound quality. Now I think these sound really good. Bass is there. The vocals could be a bit better. If there are any weak points in the sound, I think that it's the vocals. I like to be able to hear the artist crystal clear, and I can't say that this is the case here. Don't get me wrong though, that's not to say it sounds bad or muffled or tinty, but I've heard better vocal quality in headphones in this $350 price range, which is up there. But I'll be honest, that critique is moving into audiophile territory. If I throw this thing on Ari or my dad or a friend of mine, they're probably gonna hear it and just be like, "Oh, this sounds great." But because it is in that premium price category, I do want to put it out there. But have I been enjoying listening to audio on these? Absolutely. But I do want to mention all the areas there could be improvement since these are Microsoft's first pair of headphones. And if anyone's listening, this might be able to help. Now, the question is, do they get my recommendation right now? And I gotta say they do. I absolutely do recommend these. They're a solid pair of headphones. They sound good. They've got really cool features, especially if you use them alongside other Surface products. I think it just makes a very, very nice ecosystem. But I will say, I don't think these are the kind of headphones that you save up for a long time, especially if you're looking for like the best sound quality, because these are premium headphones. So if you're just somebody who, you got extra cash to burn, you want a nice solid pair of headphones that'll work with a bunch of devices, this is a really good buy. But if it's something you're gonna have to save up for, I think there are other headphones out there that are a lot cheaper that'll give you better quality in terms of audio, but you will miss out on some of the awesome noise canceling features that this thing does have. I would have been really happy with these at 250 bucks. 350 just seems like a lot. To be honest, I think 250 bucks would have been the sweet spot for these headphones. They got good sound quality, really cool features, a pretty decent look. 250 for me would make it perfect. But that about wraps it up for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully this helped you make a decision on whether or not you want to pick these up. I personally really like them. But I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. But till the next video, guys, it's your average consumer. Peace.